All right, so it happened, and I think it's probably a good reason it happened, is that PSA is finally stopping, or I guess temporarily putting on hold, their value and bulk submissions, because apparently they have 10 million, which is nuts, 10 million cards of backlog. And I watched a Rudy from Alpha Investments video, and he had mentioned that there's probably a half of those 10 million cards are Pokemon, which is absolutely nuts. I know that the market for Pokemon graded cards is like super huge, and there's a lot of people that are banking on this for their business. But I personally think it's probably a good idea for two reasons. One, I think PSA, either they're in the spotlight for their mistakes because of their backlog, or they're just making too many mistakes because they have too many cards, have too many cards to blow through. And so I was thinking about it today and trying to think of an analogy of how to, I don't know, make myself understand and maybe help others understand, is that if you have, let's just say you're working on a project and it's like a multi-team project, everybody's involved, everybody's working on, I don't know, like a production report or something like that, and it's due by a certain time frame every single month, and you have people breathing down your neck, not just the corporation itself breathing down your neck, but their customers breathing down their neck to get their cards back because they have a financial invested interest of their cards being at PSA. I think you would make mistakes. I think you would not do things right, do shady stuff to get cards out. And I think that's probably what's happening. And I'm not saying that PSA, like all the people at PSA are shady. I'm not even saying like anybody is shady at PSA. But when you're under a lot of pressure to make deadlines and to make ends meet, you do a lot of crazy things to make things happen. So that's number one. I think that's one of the biggest reasons why they put their value and bulk submissions on hold. And I think that another reason why it's probably good that they did that is, and I think a lot of people are going to hate me for saying this, but I think it's probably good for the aspect of Pokemon, not just for collectors, because I think that's where collectors are taking the biggest hit from the price increases, the price of cards, all that kind of stuff. And I know it's not really a kid's game anymore. When I was growing up, I grew up in the 90s, so the Pokemon game came out. I know that Pokemon was a big thing for younger kids. I know that Pokemon got banned from my schools because there was a lot of issues with Pokemon. Kids getting in fights, kids like not focusing on school, and focusing on their Pokemon. And it's kind of the same thing in terms of like scalping. Like everybody's, and I say scalping in the most lightest sense because I know that's a hot topic for a lot of people, but scalping in general or just reselling in general, it's a hot topic for a lot of people. A lot of people are getting in fights. I live in Utah, and I think the people in Utah are pretty decent, and maybe I'm just not seeing a lot of it. But I'm part of a restock, so my parents live in another state. I'm not going to mention the other state on here, but they live in another state, and I'm a part of a restock there because, I don't know, I like getting Pokemon cards. I like opening them. I don't typically do reselling a whole lot in terms of like buying something from a machine and flipping it. I did do it quite a bit a little while ago, but I think my focus is on Japanese booster boxes at this point. But so many other states, like states that are a lot larger, a lot more population, they have a big issue. And I know that's one of the things why I think Pokemon's removing, or maybe even just the stores in general are removing a lot of their vending machines because they're causing problems, like people loitering, hanging around the vending machines, getting in fights over the vending machines. So I think as a whole, number one, for the collector, I think it's probably good that the PSA market kind of slows down. And two, I think just in general as a whole, it could slow it down a little bit. I know the demand's really high and it's probably not going to go anywhere for very long, or for much. Gosh, what am I saying? I don't think the market's going to change for quite a while because of the demand. And Nostalgianomics came out a video a couple days ago saying that actually Pokemon printed less cards in 2025 than they printed in 2024, if I understood that right, which makes sense because the demand's super high. Also, something else to note that I think because PSA has a large majority of the market share of graded cards, I think this is a good opportunity for other grading companies to kind of show their value to the consumer. I know that the reason people grade with PSA because they're the most sought after grading company. But I think there's a lot of other grading companies out there. Like I personally like CGC. For one, the slabs feel awesome. I know you can't, like if you're trying to flip cards, it's not really the best avenue to do it. Tag, I know Tag has put a stop on their submission for like their value in bulk. And I think it was a good part on Tag for doing that because maybe they foresaw the market craze and how it's affecting their business. And I think putting a stop to that allows them to like collect their thoughts and really figure out what they want to do moving forward in terms of grading cards. And then another note, Rudy with Alpha Investments, he has a grading card company, and I know he's been pushing it quite a bit. He actually has, and I'm not affiliated with Premier Grading Company or PGC. He is currently doing $20 card submissions, $20 card grading, and he was comparing. I'm actually going to submit some cards myself, just some of the ones I've collected that I want to hold in my personal collection that I don't have any plan on reselling. I want to submit some to him to really get a good idea of what his slabs are like, because he explains that they're twice as thick as PSA. They use a metal label with laser engraving, which sounds great. Like especially as a collector, if you're gonna put your cars on display, I would much rather see a metal label laser engraved than a piece of paper that's red. I know Tag has some great slabs too, because I like the transparency aspect of their slabs. I think those are awesome. I personally haven't graded anything with Tag, but it might be something I do in the future. Just because of all of the turnaround time with PSA, I think it's really turned a lot of people off. I think that was the biggest thing that got people turned off was the turnaround time. I know for me, I submitted some cards through a card shop through PSA last September, August, and I'm still waiting for them to get back. And that was actually a mistake on their part because they misplaced the submission, which was, I'm assuming it was submitted value or bulk or something like that. And I followed up with the shop owner today, and he said, yeah, I emailed them and got no response, and they said they were in the queue being worked on. I don't know what that means. They've got a 10 million card backlog. I don't know when I'm going to receive my cards, and I'm not reselling them. Those cards are going to be for my own personal collection. So, but anyway, those are just some thoughts that I had about grading. I really think that, like, if you're a collector, I know a lot of collectors that I'm friends with, they like just throwing things in a binder, not really having them graded because maybe they have some sentimental value, or maybe they just like the card in general. They don't need it graded. Overall thoughts were, I think it's probably a good thing that PSA's stopping that card submission. I think their submission was either it's like you pay $150 for some sort of tier. It's like a 3-month turnaround time, which is crazy to me to think that they charge that $150 to grade. I remember when I graded my first card with PSA, it was like $20, maybe 30, I think. And the turnaround time was maybe 3 months. And then all of a sudden, boom, that backlog happened, which is the amount of eyes that are on Pokemon right now is just insane. Those are my thoughts. Hope you guys are doing well. If you need any Japanese booster boxes, you can visit our website at chaoscard.com. We just got some Abyss Eye in, and super excited about that set. I'll probably open maybe a box or two if I can get some without shrink, because I'm not going to keep them sealed, and I'm not reselling them. So if you need some booster boxes, hit me up on chaoscard.com, or you can email me directly to work out a deal. You can email me at info@chaoscard.com. But anyway, take it easy, guys. We'll talk to you later.